Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Everybody here. Everybody's live. Good job. All right. Let me get this thing going here. All right. All right. Praise the Most High. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning. Good evening, depending on where you are. And yes, we're going to continue our study in Isaiah chapter 27. But of course, before we do, let's invite the Father's Spirit to come among us and guide us in His Word, that we might give honor and glory and praise to His name as we study His Word today. All right, and then we'll get into our 3 scriptures that we normally get into today. Let's have a word of prayer. Most High Yah, we just want to give you praise and honor and glory. And we just want to thank you for all that you continue to do for us and have done for us. Please continue to awaken us. Continue to guide us with your spirit and give us power and strength with that spirit, that we might be obedient to your word. And that your name and your name alone, Yah Yahweh, will be glorified. In the name of your Son, Messiah, Yahweh Shah, we pray. Amen. Okay. Let's get into the word. So we'll start off with the 3 scriptures that we normally start off with. And we read these scriptures because they're a good representation of past, of present, and of future. They're a good representation of past, present, and future. And we like that because that's what prophecy represents: past, present, and future. I know that sounds crazy because prophetic always looks to the future, right? But generally, what has happened in the past is being repeated in the future. We just have to recognize it. Most people don't, but the Most High shows us that. And so, past is things that have already happened, that are pertaining to Yah's people. Present, things that are happening right now that pertain to Yah's people. Future, things that are coming that pertain to Yah's people. Always pertaining to Yah's people. See, he's not looking at the whole earth in terms of his people. His decisions, his plans are laid with his glory in mind through his people. I know that's a hard pill to swallow in this ecumenical age of Christianity, where everybody thinks they serve the same God and that this God just loves everybody. No. When you look at the Bible and you look at all the promises in the Bible, those promises are given to Israel, and they're given by Israelite prophets. Okay, people try to inculcate or place on themselves or on their denomination or on their religion these promises as if they are for everybody. That's not what the scriptures are saying. No, that's not what the scriptures are saying. Okay, so somebody might ask, so he only cares about Israel? Yep, and those with Israel. Those with Israel. Remember what Messiah said when he said, "He that is not with us is against us." He's representing Israel, because he said, "I came not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel." He came for the house of Israel. And so he that is with the house of Israel is blessed. He that is not with the house of Israel is not. He has set for, and this is, I'm already starting. Let's get into the scriptures. Let me get into the scriptures first, because let me get into the scriptures first. Let's get into the scripture. Okay. Okay, I'm open in YouTube. I am open in YouTube for anyone that wants to know. When you see me open here in Pal Talk, I opened in YouTube first. I generally open YouTube first and then come to Pal Talk. So if you see me here in Pal Talk, that already means we're usually in YouTube already. So we're in YouTube right now. We're live, and we're in Pal Talk, and we're in Hangouts. Okay. All right. So Isha, are you ready? Okay. Are you able to do these scriptures? Or okay, good. Okay, so Exodus chapter 31, we start off Exodus 31 verses 12 to 18. Exodus 31 12 to 18. Significant for us because it is past, but it represents Yah's covenant with Israel, with the children of Israel. And the covenant with Israel is a covenant with our people who are Israelites, bloodline and by faith who join with the nation of Israel. Let's take a look in Exodus chapter 31 from verses 12 to 18. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know Ahia Yahweh that doth sanctify you. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahweh. Whosoever doth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generation for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him on Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone written with the finger of the Most High Yah. Exodus chapter 31, verses 12 through 18. Next is the present, Deuteronomy chapter 30. You say Deuteronomy is the present? Yep. We're in this world's history. We're in Deuteronomy chapter 30. Y'all don't realize that. You'll see. Now, it's not completely finished yet, but it started. It started. Verse 1 has already started. Deuteronomy chapter 30. We've already started. And so here we are, Deuteronomy chapter 30. We're going to read from verses 1 to 10 of Deuteronomy chapter 30. Yes, this history has already begun. This is where we are right now. Let's take a look at it. And it shall come to pass. Now, shall at that time is future, but we're in that future, right? And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee. And thou, that is you Israelites, shall call them to mind among all the nations where Yahweh thy Most High have driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy Most High, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then Yahweh thy Most High will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where Yahweh thy Most High have scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy Most High gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy Most High will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy Most High will circumcise thy heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy Most High with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And Yahweh thy Most High will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. And Yahweh thy Most High will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Most High, to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law. And if thou turn unto Yahweh thy Most High with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Oh yes, the return to the Most High, the return to our roots, to who we are, has begun. This is where we are right now. There's some more future stuff to happen there, of course, as we have noted there with regard to the enemies. But anyway, Revelation chapter 11 is future, not too distant future either. Close enough that most of the people alive today will see it. Revelation chapter 11, the seventh trumpet. Revelation chapter 11, the seventh trumpet. We're going to read Revelation chapter 11 from verse 15 to 19. Revelation chapter 11, the seventh trumpet from verses 15 to 19. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our master and of his Messiah. And he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders, which sat before Yahweh on their seats, fell upon their faces and worshiped Yahweh, saying, we give thee thanks, O Yahweh al Shaddai, which art and wast and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And the temple of Yahweh was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. And there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. Oh yes, this is a good place for us to start. This verse right here is a good place for us to start today. Good place for us to start because it describes what we're dealing with right now. You see, brothers and sisters, if you recall, we talked about the beginning of sin. We talk about that often because that's the root of where we are right now, in a sense. So when Adam sinned, we talked about this when we read, if you recall, we read Genesis chapter 3 the other night. When Adam sinned, he experienced an emotion that he had never experienced before. It is fear. Adam did not know fear prior to sin. And when the Most High was calling him, he got scared and he hid himself and he realized he was naked and he tried to use fig leaves to cover his nakedness because he was scared. Now, later on, the Most High killed the first animal sacrifice. It was in Genesis to represent Messiah. And he covered Adam with those skins. He covered Adam with those skins and Eve. So in other words, Adam tried to create his own covering to cover himself, but the Most High gave him a covering. You see what happened there? So he got scared and he tried to create his own covering to cover himself, but the Most High sought him out and gave him a covering. Okay, that's important for us to learn. Okay, because remember when we studied Gospel of John chapter 4, and the Messiah told that Samaritan woman, what did he say? Yah is a spirit, and they that worship him in spirit and truth. And he said, you shall neither in this mountain in Samaria nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. The Father seeks them that worship him in spirit and in truth. Remember that? He said he seeketh such. So he seeketh out people that want spirit and truth. Are you hearing me? He's seeking out people that want spirit and truth, and he's seeking to give them a cover. Question for the day. First question. Here's testing 1, 2, 3. Want to make sure you're hearing me now. Testing 1, 2, 3. First quiz question of the day. The Father's seeking people out to give them a covering. What covering is he trying to give them? Is it animal skins? What covering is he trying to give us to cover our nakedness? That's right. Give me some more. Give me some more, Isha. That's correct. That's right. That's right. Give me some more, though. Give me some more. Give me some more. Give me. Ah, yes. You're looking for that R word. That's right. He's looking to cover us with his righteousness. That's what Adam lost when he sinned. That's right. That's right, WCK. Adam lost when he sinned. He lost Father's righteousness. That's why he was naked. Again, we stick in the Revelation for a minute. So let's take a look at Revelation chapter 16 real quick. But see, that's what he was looking. He was seeking out Adam to give him that covering, and he gave it to him. Adam received that. He's still seeking out people to give them a covering of his righteousness. He's still doing it. And so before we go further, let's take a look at that. Revelation chapter 16. And we talked about this last night. This is under the 6th plague. See, the 7 last plagues are only affecting the wicked. They're only affecting the lost. So I'm starting off today talking about fear because we're going to end up in Isaiah chapter 27, and we're going to end up talking about the covenant, right? But we're going to start off talking about fear. We're going to talk about the effects of fear, because that's going to it's playing a role right now, and it's going to continue to play a bigger role in how Satan controls people. Okay. Revelation chapter 16, talking about the sixth plague. Again, going to start at verse 12. Going to start at verse 12 and go down to verse 16. Revelation chapter 16, from verse 12 to verse 16, the sixth plague, where we live. Well, anyway, the plagues are like wheels within wheels, almost like a Russian doll. So the plagues are happening different from the seven churches, seven seals, seven trumpets. That's a different thing. But these plagues are all happening within the sixth church, sixth seal, going into the seventh church, seventh seal. All seven of these plagues happening within. I know it sounds confusing. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. But let's read this. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof were dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, 6, and out of the mouth of the beast, 6, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, 6. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them unto the battle of the great day of Yah, Al Shaddai. Look at verse 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. I come as a thief. Blessed are they that is covered, lest his shame is seen. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue. Notice they said the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon, the place of final destruction. Same place that spoke of in Joel chapter 3 when it said the valley of Jehoshaphat, place of final judgment. Same thing. Okay. Armageddon. Okay, now look. 3 unclean spirits, real quick, I'm gonna tell you. They're visible in chapter 13. Most people don't recognize them, but the beast, the dragon, and the false prophet are in chapter 13 of Revelation. We see the dragon very plainly, right? Because the dragon gives the beast its power, seat, and great authority. So you see the dragon, you see the beast. Who's the false prophet? It's that lamb-like beast that come up out the earth. Remember him? That's the United States of America. The dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. That's the devil controlling Catholicism and the United States of America, which brings forth Protestant Christianity or evangelical. Y'all heard of evangelical, right? There you go. But dragon, beast, and false prophet. These are going to lead the earth and gathering the people together to unite the people. Okay. You say, how's the dragon spirit coming out of his mouth? He's going to impersonate Messiah. He's going to be in a bodily form. And he's going to deceive the earth. He's not going to deceive the Israelites. And it ain't going to be because, again, I reference, they used to teach us in the Advent church, well, he's not, he's going to touch the ground. Jesus is not going to touch the ground. No. That's not how you're going to distinguish him. How you're going to distinguish him is by what he says. He's against the covenant. And if you are Israelite, when you hear stuff against the covenant, just like Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, otherwise known as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when Nebuchadnezzar said, bow down to this image, they were like, oh, wait. No. Because that goes against the covenant. Okay, that goes against the covenant. So they wasn't going to do that. And that's why this false Messiah going to be going against the covenant. He's going to be in with the Catholic Church. And we're going to know, no, this ain't him. Plus the spirit going to be heavy on us more than it is now. And you're going to show us this is the false one. But he's going to gather together the whole world to try to destroy us. Yep. Dragon, beast, false prophet. There you go. Okay. And it said, let's go back now. Well, Before we go back to Revelation chapter 11, let's take a pit stop in another book that Christians try to ignore. That's part of their New Covenant, New Testament. You know, they call them New Testament Christians. Okay, there's a book they ignore. They stumble their way through Revelation, don't know what they're talking about, and they never look at Hebrews. Why is that? Because Hebrews makes plain their fallacy. New Covenant ain't got nothing to do with Gentiles. Got nothing to do with y'all. And Hebrews makes that plain, but they don't want to discuss that because that blows their whole game out. Christianity's a pimp game, yo. I'm just telling you, it's a pimp game. You being pimped. Oh, you like to make fun of the girls that's on the street when some dude got them out there pimping? Yeah, that's ugly stuff. That's bad. Just as bad you showing up at some institution in a church listening to some pimp preacher telling you to dig deep in your pockets and give your last, saying you're gonna get blessed. That's more of a sucker game. I'm just trying to be real with you. Hebrews chapter 1. Actually, chapter 2. Hebrews chapter 2. Talking about Messiah. Hebrews chapter 2. Hebrews chapter 2. Going to start at verse, where should I start? I'm going to start at verse 9. I'm going to start at verse 9, and I'm going to go down to verse 15. Hebrews chapter 2, he said, thank you, CJ. From 9 to 15, she does a good job. I'll be giving her all kind of hard time, but she handles it. Praise God. Let's see. Hebrews chapter 2 from verse 9 to 15. Here you go. But we see Yahushua, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of Yahweh should taste death for every man. For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering. For both he that sanctifieth and they who are sanctified are all of one. For which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren, saying, I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee. And of course, this is not a building or denomination. This is the book of Hebrews. So who is he talking to? He's talking to Hebrews. And again, I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, I and the children which Yah has given me. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is, the devil, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. See? So we know that Messiah came to deliver the people that were, first of all, under the bondage of fear. Under the bondage of fear, right? So wait, he has to first, the people that are under this bondage has to surrender to the Father in the name of the Messiah, right? You got to surrender, right? Because Messiah taught us that. Bible teaches us that, right? Okay. Now, we talked yesterday about repentance, right? We can't talk too much about repentance because we should be in a repentant state on a daily basis. We need to be. It's not about whether you did something wrong or not. It's about affirming your commitment to Father's righteousness on a daily basis. Okay? It's about affirming or reaffirming your commitment to Father's righteousness on a daily basis. Your commitment to truth. It's a solemn commitment. It's no joke. Okay? On a daily basis. Because you have a choice every day. And you know what? Any drug addict, alcoholic will tell you. They are still a drug addict or alcoholic, and they got to affirm their desire to stay sober every day. It's one day at a time, they tell you. And that's the same thing with sin. It's the same thing. All of us are sinners, always, but we have to affirm our commitment to righteousness on a daily basis. That's what it's about. And when Messiah prayed all night to his Father, you see the situation brings out what's necessary. What do I mean by that? So Messiah is the one who is going to carry the sins of all the nation on his back. And all the people from Adam that are the Most High's people, all the way to the end of time. That's the most serious commitment in history. Therefore, it called forth from him the need to stick with his Father closer than anything, because to mess up this mission means the whole world is lost. So it was the enormity of the situation that called forth from Messiah the desire and need to pray all night to his Father. Now, we're not always called into such situations, but every day, because of the fact that when you understand righteousness by faith and its truth, and you understand Father's righteousness is what's giving you entrance into his kingdom, and not only that, Father's righteousness is what's giving you power to overcome the sins that Satan wants to chain you up with. You know, every day you need to recommit to that in order to stay on the path. You have to commit to that every day. But let's go back to Revelation. Not everybody reacts with repentance to the emotion of fear. Not everybody does. Look, Revelation chapter 11. But what we read today, Revelation chapter 11. Not everybody reacts to fear the same way or the proper way. See, Most High designs us to react to fear by turning to him who can cause us to overcome fear. Right? But not everybody reacts that way. Let's go back to what we read. Revelation chapter 11. Revelation 11, verse 18. Revelation 11, verse 18, which we read this morning, a few minutes ago. Again, we're going into Isaiah 27. Revelation 11, 18. Notice what it says. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them, which destroy the earth. So apparently, some people react to fear is unrepentant and angry, right? There's a reaction that is repentant and coming to the Father, and then there's a reaction that's angry and attacking. And that last one that we mentioned, isn't that Satan's reaction? Revelation chapter 12, Revelation chapter 12, Revelation chapter 12. I'm gonna read from Revelation 12. I'm gonna read from verse. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna read from verse 11 down to verse 12. Revelation chapter 12 from verse 11 down to verse 12. Revelation 12 from verse 11 down to verse 12. Notice what it says. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our Most High and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Most High day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. See, Satan's reaction to fear is wrath and anger and attack. The reaction of the chosen to fear is to go to the Father and receive power from the Father. to stand firm and not fear, to be bold as a lion, as the Bible says, bold as the lion of the tribe of Judah, and not fear. That's our reaction. That's our reaction. But Asatan's reaction and those following Asatan is anger and attack. Attack on what? Attack on the chosen. Attack on the chosen. He was wroth with the woman, enraged. The woman, Israel. And we overcome him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our witness, bearing witness. That is the same thing, brothers. I know it sounds crazy because I keep mentioning it, but it's the same thing. It's righteousness. We overcome Asatan by Father's righteousness. The blood of the Lamb allows us to be cleansed from sin and receive Father's righteousness. And we are dressed. He is seeking out to dress us with his righteousness. And we overcome Asatan with that. Best way to deal with a bully is to stand up to him. Anybody that's dealt with bullies knows that. The best way to deal with a bully is to show you ain't scared. Bullies want you to be scared. Y'all ever dealt with bullies before? Or y'all ever been a bully? How a bully operates is the bully needs you to be scared. They need you to be scared, right? And they capitalize on your fear. But when you stand firm and they look at you and they know that you mean business, like you ain't gonna play. You want to scrap? We're gonna scrap then. That's when they hesitate. And Asatan is a bully. Yeah? And when you stand firm against the bully, the Bible says, when he say resist the devil and he shall flee from you, that's why you're standing firm in the Father's righteousness against the fear of the enemy. He can't handle that because he's a coward, a liar, deceiving coward. But unfortunately, in these last days, the nations are angry. And so their nations are following Asatan. The Bible has shown us that the whole world wanders after the beast. Correct? The whole world wanders after the beast. You got the beast, the dragon, the false prophet, and the Bible says that false prophet causes the earth and them that dwell therein to create an image to the beast who had the wound by a sword and did live. And say they should all worship the beast, and whoever will not worship the beast should be killed. See, that's a bully right there. So we are standing firm on Yah's righteousness, the covering that he gave us, that he's going to not only give us, but as we get closer to the time, he's going to make that covering part of our permanent character. That's called the seal. He's going to seal us in his righteousness. Okay. So far, so good. Everybody with us? Everybody got it? Okay, cool. All right. So now, these last days, fear. How does it manifest? How are we seeing that manifest what we just read? See, brothers and sisters, when your eyes are open by the grace of Yah, when your eyes are open, you no longer, before when you were in Christianity, you read these things in the Bible, as theory. You don't read them as real. They're all theory because very few people actually see these things happening because their eyes are shut and there's no power. There's no power there. But when the Father is awakening you and you are in repentant state and he's putting that righteous covering on you, now the scales drop and you see it and he's showing it to you. And he's not showing it to you for you to be smarter than the rest of the people. No. He's trying to help you be what? Prepared. Messiah said, behold, I've told you before, he wants us to be prepared. Remember, prophecy, what did it say? To show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. That's what it's doing. This is no game. There's no guessing game. We can't be guessing about this stuff. This is real. Destinies are on the line. Okay? So how is this fear of the nations being manifest? Well, let's take a look at it. Let's look at history just for a second. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about history. Y'all recall how many of y'all were alive or recall or read about 9/11/2001? 9/11/2001. Y'all remember that day, 9/11/2001? I remember that day. It was a scary day because all them things happened. Everybody got up that day like it was a normal day. and all that stuff was focusing on New York and Washington D.C. and that other plane that was downed in Pennsylvania, and it was scary to see, because myself being from New York and having worked in the area of the Twin Towers, having actually every day come out of the bottom of the Twin Towers and walk to work when I was a clerk down on Wall Street, would come down out every day, and those towers were just part of the scene, and to watch them coming down like that, it hurt. It was sad and scary. And that same day, if you recall, now we're looking back all these years later, that same day, if you remember looking at all the major newscasters, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of them was looking over there. Their eyes were on New York, right? And everybody was horrified, as you should be. Everybody was horrified about what was going on. And you started seeing them post pictures of this Muslim cat all over the place. Osama bin Laden. We got intel already. The day wasn't even over yet. And Osama bin Laden, right? Everywhere, Osama bin Laden. What happened as a result of that, before we actually went into a multi-trillion-dollar war that killed many more of our American soldiers than 9/11 did? What happened before that? Well, you started seeing people attack Muslims in the United States of America. I got a people I grew up with, another homie of mine. His sister converted to Islam, and she married a Muslim, and her husband, they both converted to Islam, and they lived in Texas, and he worked a regular job, and he was on his way to work during that time. He was on his way to work, and an assassin shot him as he was driving on the highway. Never found out who it was. They were using a high-powered rifle, and they killed him, murdered him on the highway because he was a Muslim. Okay. Let's not act like that's unusual. We know this is what happens in the United States of America. And why? Because people, what? They're scared. Because people are scared. Correct? Testing 1, 2, 3. Am I right? Or is that correct or not? You tell, right? Okay. Wait, let's take it more recent. Our president stood up and called the coronavirus what? The Chinese virus. Didn't he do that? He said it was the Chinese virus. Right? Right? So what happened as a result? Chinese people started getting killed and attacked. Some of them wasn't even Chinese. If you was Asian, you started getting attacked. Correct? Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that right? Testing 1, 2, 3. That's our Satan's reaction to fear. We're talking about reacting to fear, right? Now, some of us, y'all's chosen people, how do we react to it? Oh, we were scared too. But what we do, we went to the Most High. And we go to his word and we trust in his promises. I'm going to keep you from the plagues, he said. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to take care of you. Yet he warns us, some of y'all are going to die. I'm going to put some of y'all to sleep. Blessed are they that die in y'all from henceforth. Yea, says the Spirit, that they may rest in their labors and their works do follow them. He says he's teaching us in his word what's going on because we're seeking him. But when you angry and you don't know nothing about the Creator, you start attacking. You're not repentant and you start attacking. Just yesterday, there was some fool woman in Florida talking about it's because of people from New York that this virus came. You see what I'm saying? When you're not repentant, you start blaming other people. Isn't that what Adam did? First thing he said, Father said, how you know you naked? How you scared? He said, the woman that you gave me. He said, that woman, man, she gave me the fruit and I ate it. So in other words, it's the Creator's fault for giving him the woman. Because brothers and sisters, when people are scared and angry and they're not repentant, they blame everybody but themselves. They blame everybody but themselves. Okay? And they start attacking other people. And like I said, I just named a few things. Let me get a little bit more sensitive here, though. You get a little more. Y'all ready? I'm trying to illustrate this point so that we'll be all of this, what I'm talking to you now, is to help us be prepared. That's all it's about. All right. So I'm trying to bring the truth because it helps us be prepared. So let's get a little bit more sensitive now. Why do Caucasian people string up black people? Why have they done that? Why did they string us up by trees, cut out our privates like that? Why did Jim Crow come into existence? Well, I mean, why did it even come into existence? Why did chain gangs come into existence? Why is it that black people have to fight for civil rights, marching in streets for civil rights? Like Martin Luther King said, why am I out here fighting for something that should have been mine from birth? Malcolm X said, when people come from Ireland or Poland, they already citizens. They ain't got to march for no rights. Why we got to march for rights? Why is that? Fear. It's fear. It's unrepentant fear. Okay? What do I mean by that? I'm about to say something that y'all see. I try to speak the truth, but sometimes the truth is powerfully hurtful. And I'm not trying to be hurtful. I'm just trying to get us prepared. Okay? And I also, let me just reiterate, there are going to be people from all races of people among y'all's chosen people. There's no, I mean, okay, there's going to be, we read that, Isaiah 56. We're going to read that. There's going to be people from all different races that's going to be repentant people that's going to come to this truth. Not the majority by any means, not the majority, but there's going to be people. So I'm not trying to down any people. I'm just trying to help us be prepared. Okay? Now, if you are a person that is of a group of people that have been oppressive and exploitative. What do I mean by that? Like, you come to countries, you shake hands, you smile, then you take over. Right? You come to land, you smile, you're friendly, but then you take over. And when you take over, you become violent in your taking over. You don't just peacefully take over, you ruthlessly take over. And then you say, well, we were stronger. That's why we were able to do it. Well, what happens is, it's like this, brothers. It's like you start to feel like, if I don't maintain my power, the people that I have hurt to get my power are going to come back on me. Right? I mean, that's a natural reaction. That's natural. So in other words, if I've done ruthlessness, if I let's say I'm in the mob and I've killed many people to get to become the boss, the head of a crime family, I gotta always be watching my back. I can't trust nobody. Why? Because I know what I've done, and I know somebody could do it to me. Right? So that principle is everywhere. So here you got the Caucasian man has to have that. He's got that fear. He's got to have it because he knows he may not want to admit it, but hundreds of years of ruthlessly taking over places cause you to have to look over your shoulder all the time. Cause you to have to really be careful, because if ever the people that you oppress ever get the upper hand on you, you know what's coming. You know what's coming. And it's a fear that causes that. It's fear. Okay. And we want to praise the Most High Yah, because, brothers and sisters, the truth sets us free from fear. Truth sets us free. Righteousness contains truth and love, and it sets us free from fear. We're not afraid to face fear when we have Yah's righteousness and love with us. We're not afraid. Nobody. I don't care what color you are. But I'm trying to talk about what's happening now and what's coming, so that we're prepared. Okay? Y'all ready? You ready to get into this deep before we read Isaiah 6? Okay? Okay, here we go. So listen. The Roman Catholic Church is just that, a church based in Rome, right? Correct? That's the beast. And the image to the beast is based in the United States of America, right? Also with people that came from Europe and took over, correct? Right? So people came from the United States of America from these different countries, killed the Indians, took the land, and now they built it up. And they built it up mostly on the back of slaves, which they imported from Africa, who happened to be, really, I'm just being facetious, but they happen to be Yah's chosen people. Okay? So now there's a fear. There's a fear, and it's been there. And they react in this fear in attacking the people they have oppressed. That's their reaction to their fear. Okay? But see, not their fear, not their guns, not anything is going to stop what Yah has already decided is going to happen. So no matter what anyone decides, whether he be the Pope or the president or any Ku Klux Klan, all that doesn't matter when Yah has decided what's going to happen. And he's already outlined in the word what's going to happen. Okay. So the same fear that caused Caucasian people in the country to, to string up brothers, imprison brothers, shoot them in the street, right? The same fear that causes them to try to blame the black people for their own plight when it was all established in a geopolitical plan, and the same fear that causes them to get angry now at Muslims or Chinese people, that fear is going to come to the Israelites. And the difference now is that Asatan is going to increase his power with the Catholic Christianity and the evangelical Christianity, and they're going to direct that anger to us out of fear. Now, the people among those groups that want truth, they're gonna come, and they're gonna become part of the nation, and they're gonna get blessed. Especially if you're dealing with your people now, and you all know. I mean, you all know, Caucasian people become even more angry and harder on other Caucasians that they say cross the line, right? In other words, when you start to see this truth and you start to believe these truths, they will become worse with you. They get very angry with you. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, right? They get worse with you. They call you a traitor. You're a traitor, right? You become a traitor. You are, what they say, you are a traitor to your race. You're a traitor to your race. Especially, listen, especially in the Bible Belt. Y'all know, in the United States of America, you know what I'm talking about when I say the Bible Belt, right? Right? So that's especially true there. And you want to talk about deep levels of ignorance? Go down there and talk to some of them, man. And listen, I ain't gonna front. There's some of the nicest people I met. I've met some rednecks, nice people, man. But man, the level of ignorance, woo, it's hard, man. It's hard to listen to sometimes. It's hard, but it is what it is, man. But again, that's based in fear. Based in fear. Okay. And so that is why when the Bible talks about Gog and Magog coming at the Most High's chosen people, it's no accident. Gog and Magog are original inhabitants of Yafet, which is where you get it is the motherland of the European, which is why you have a European beast and a European image. It's a Eurocentric culture that's in Babylon. See, this is interesting. I just find this fascinating because initially Babylon was founded by a Hamite, a black man. Initially, okay, Babylon, in defiance of the Creator, when they did the Power of Babel, that was black people that was leading that effort. That we call black people today, Hamites. But what happened later on? The Caucasian, as according to prophecy, they gained the supremacy, starting with the Greek Empire. They gained world supremacy. And ever since then, they've been gaining power. And what they was doing, they would go and copy stuff from ancient civilizations that were mostly black people, copy it, and then say they just discovered it, right? They discovered it. That's when you had Napoleon going down into North Africa and shooting off the faces of them black people that were the statues, right? And that's why you had Alexander from Greece going down to Kemet and naming it Alexandria, Egypt. Okay, they discovered it. That's been happening now for thousands of years, long before there was the United States, and it's continuing. So all of that creates a pride and a fear. And so really the Caucasian peoples, especially in the United States and those other so-called developing nations, they find themselves in a very difficult position because you have to be humble. You have to come humble to the Creator and admit the sins of your fathers. It's like, see, I'm gonna be honest, it's easier for a Hebrew to come to repentance because we've been humbled. We can't deny that we've been put down, that we've been oppressed, that we're the lowest ones. We can't deny we've been wilding and acting the fool. We can't deny it. And so it's easier for us to come and say, yeah, you're right, Father. I've been acting a fool. You're right. But it's harder when you're used to controlling everything. When you're used to thinking in your mind, you have control of everything. When you are obviously the richest and most powerful people, when all the pictures of people that worship is a white Jesus, it's harder for you to humble yourself. That's why I say the people among the Caucasians that you're going to see come to this truth are people of the lower classes, the poor people, the real rednecks. Some of them might come to this. You're going to see that. Because why? Because they're already humbled. See, they've been deceived, and some of them are starting to wake up. You've been deceived especially in America, you've been deceived. You know you've been deceived. You are poor and struggle just like the black man is poor and struggle. Some of y'all know it. And then what they telling you? What your rich people telling you? Well, you're different because you're white. And you ain't getting ahead because of that. They're telling you that to stop you from rebelling, to stop you from joining force with other poor people and overthrowing them. That's what they're doing. And it's been working. It's a deception. Okay? But the Bible shows us that it's going to work for you. I mean, it's going to work against y'all in terms of the majority of the Caucasians are going to lead the powers that be, that the Caucasian European powers are going to lead the earth by Satan's power in rebellion against the Creator. The nations were angry. The beast got his power, seat, and authority from the dragon. The image to the beast exercises all the power of the first beast before him. Fear drives that. Fear drives that. All the way up to the top. Even the Pope is scared of the Jesuits. And even the Jesuits are scared of the devil. Because the devil, they follow his teachings. The devil's teachings are, number one, you could be a god. Number two, you will give everything you have to save your life. And he'll say, I'm going to kill your behind if you don't do what I say. And they'll do it. Fear drives everything. Fear of repercussion for what your fathers did. Fear drives everything. Fear of losing your place in power. See, that's why they're so scared of the Mexicans. They're scared of the Mexicans. Why? Why are they scared of them? What the Mexicans do to them? They ain't do nothing. Ain't no more rapists and killers among the Mexicans than there are among black people or white people. Same, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no more of them that's killers than anybody else. All they do is come here and work hard, try to get ahead. That's all they doing. But what's the problem? There's too many of them and they're brown. And we're feeling scared because we're losing our majority. We don't want that. So you vote a man in office that promises you, I'm going to get rid of all of them. Right? Even though he's lying to you, even though his policies are economically crushing you, he did keep that promise, didn't he? He kept that one. He put them babies in cages, separated them from their mothers, sent them back. Yeah, he kept that promise. And for that reason alone, you got a large segment of the Caucasian population that will vote him in office no matter how much his other policies destroy them. He ain't got no medical policy to help you. His economic policy ain't helping you. He's still shipping jobs overseas to China where he got factories to make his own products. But all that doesn't matter because white supremacy, he's promising you white supremacy. That's really what it was. It's cold. It's promising you white supremacy. You know, the rednecks came down into Virginia and started all kind of ruckus, killed a woman, but hey, they're good people on both sides. That's your president. Hey, it's all good though. Because the Bible shows us the ones that are repentant are going to come to the truth. The ones that come to Father and get that righteousness with the nation of Israel are going to receive a covering of truth and righteousness, and they're gonna bring forth truth. The majority though gonna stay in fear. But you see, as we said yesterday, we say now, the Leviathan deceives, the trumpet awakens. Father is bringing forth the trumpet in Messiah. That's what he's doing. That's what Messiah set forth as the trumpet. Messiah bringing forth the trumpet. And his awakening, he's calling his people, like he called up Lazarus from the dead, like Father told Ezekiel to stand out there and speak to the valley of dead bones, and it became the whole nation of Israel from the dead. Brothers and sisters, he's calling us back. And he said it, we said it today, the Bible showed it to us. It shall come to pass when all these things come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, that is you Israelites, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahweh thy most high have driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy most high. Not return to white Jesus, not return to your church, return to Yahweh thy most high with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then he will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and gather thee from all the nations whither he hath been driven, where he has driven. See, he drove us all into our enemies' lands, punishing us for the sins of our fathers and for our sins, for worshiping other gods. Now we turning back to the only true God. Remember what he said in Isaiah 44? He said, is there a God beside me? I know not any. Is Father lying? Or see, either he's telling the truth and he's the only true one of the nation of Israel. And he said to him, he announced himself as the Holy One of Israel. He said the Holy One of Rome or Babylon or Greece or Kittim. He said the Holy One of Israel. That's how he announced himself. And he's the only true God. There ain't no other. Ain't no God of the SDAs, the God of the Baptists, the God of the Pentecostals, the God of the Jehovah Witness or the Mormons. They all different gods. They think they serve different gods. The Mormon one says that this Caucasian man named Joseph Smith that came to them, and that white Jesus visited him out there in Utah and told him that black people were subhuman. Yeah, that's in the Book of Mormon. They try to deny it now. Why? Because they want the black dollars. Still the truth. Ellen White was told, white Jesus came and told her that they need to, create this denomination called, that was Adventist, to change it to Seventh-day Adventist, because they keep the Sabbath, even though they got that Sabbath from Seventh-day Baptists. That's how they got it. But they never gave them that credit. But no, they are the only ones that's the true church. And she's the prophet. A white woman from Maine is the prophet. Come on now. Come on now. And I'm not saying the woman didn't mean well, but come on now. Let's get real now. Where in the Bible do we talk about a white woman prophet that's not Israelite? Come on now. Show me your witnesses. The word bears witness to the truth. Give me your witnesses. Bring forth your witnesses and your strong arguments from the word. But that's a different God. That's not the God of the Hebrews. Okay? Watchtower, man, they've been setting dates for the return of their Messiah for decades. I can't even tell you how many times. Then all of a sudden they decided 1914 was when the devil was thrown out of heaven. Whatever. Show me your witnesses. Then, in order to have a witness, they created their own Bible. Come on now. Come on now. Let's get real. Y'all all serving the God of this world. You don't realize it. You're being deceived. Being deceived, man. It's time to get real. It's time to get real. Man will always glorify himself. 666. 666. Man will always glorify himself. But man cannot get glory in the truth unless he gives all glory to Yah. Cannot get glory in the truth unless he gives all glory to Yah. And Yah has chosen Jacob's children. Yah has chosen Jacob's children. I got witnesses from the word, not SOP. Y'all know, not Book of Mormon, not Watchtower. I got witnesses from the word. Yah has chosen Jacob's children. He has never forgot Jacob's children. Oh, yeah, he wants some Gentiles to be saved too. That's why he sent his Hebrew prophet Shaul or Paul to help y'all. But he ain't do that for y'all to think y'all taking over. Come on now. Get real. Isaiah chapter 27. Isaiah chapter 27. We'll start off where we was last night. Remember, we talked about the Leviathan. The Leviathan. I'm going to start at verse 1 again, if y'all don't mind. Isaiah chapter 27. Each of we're going to start at verse 1 again. And we're going to go from verse 1 down to verse 7. Isaiah 27, 1 to 7. In that day, that is the day that he described in chapter 26, when he brings forth his fury to punish the earth. See, the nations are angry because they're scared. Yah is angry because he's righteous. There's a big difference. Nations are angry because they're scared and they're unrepentant. Yah is angry because he's righteous. And that's why the Bible says very plainly, Messiah will return, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. In righteousness he doth judge and make war. He's righteous. Our Satan is fearful, and he brings fear, and he scares people with death. The Most High doesn't do that. He's going to destroy sin, but the reason his people serve him is because they have surrendered to him. And they want to glorify their Father. See, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? I mean, it's not about whether you like me or I like you. It's about, do we want to glorify our Father? And if we all want to glorify him, we come together. And we are a minority on the planet Earth because the majority of this earth follow after the dragon. The majority of Earth does. We just talked about all of these Christian churches. The majority of Earth does follow after the dragon. There's no question. Minority of Earth gives glory to Father alone and Messiah alone. If you go into any church and you talk about the Word and the Father alone, and you start doing that, they're gonna get agitated at you. They're not gonna want you around. Believe me, I've been there. You start to. I was stand up preaching one day, and I was invited. I didn't, they invited me, and so I'm speaking the truth, man. I said this, and I was talking to Christians, and at that time I hadn't had the knowledge that I have now, so I was calling myself a Christian. But I said even then, it's only Messiah or Christ and the Word alone. And I said all the Christian churches are corrupt. Most had already given me that. And somebody in the crowd said, well, all except the SDA church. I said, no, SDA church is just as corrupt as all the other ones. They didn't want me to come back after that. Hey, it's all good though, because some people got baptized as a result of that. So we praise the Most High, baptized in this truth. Because there is in every crowd somebody that wants the truth. Might be one person. Most High sent me a long way to go preach there for that one family that wanted the truth. But the rest of them, they was like, oh, they was angry because he spoke against the SDA church. Now, yeah, I'm gonna speak against your church. I'm gonna speak against all churches because none of them churches represent Yah. He's being misrepresented by y'all. And it bothers me because I want the Father to be properly represented. And he is represented by people that trust only in him through his Son and his righteousness, not any denomination, corporation. Isaiah chapter 27 from 1 to 7. In that day, Yah with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day, sing ye unto her a vineyard of red wine. I, Yahweh, do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who would set the briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them. I would burn them together. Or let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me. And he shall make peace with me. His strength is his righteous truth. Take hold of his strength to cause you to overcome, and you'll be at peace with your creator. You're not going to be at peace with the enemies, but you're going to be at peace with your creator. You got to decide what's more important to you. Everybody does. I'm all in on this word. I told you. I'm not playing. I'm all in on this word. And I'm prepared. It may cost me my life. It may cost me everything. But there is nothing more valuable to me than Father's Spirit. There's nothing more valuable to me than the Father's Spirit. And his Spirit caused me to want to give him his glory all the time. Yeah, I act a fool sometimes. I admit it, but I admit it. I admit it. And I come back to my Father and affirm my commitment to him and his writings on a daily basis. It's not because of me, it's him. So I'm all in, man. I'm sold out to this thing. There ain't no money in it. Ain't no worldly glory in it. I ain't going to get rich off of this. I don't want to. You can't buy Father's Spirit. You can't buy the seal in your forehead. You can't purchase that. He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit. He has smitten him as he smote those that smote him. Oh, excuse me, wait, it's a question. Hath he smitten him as he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? Talking about Jacob. Has he smitten those that smote him? That's a question. He's going to. See, that's the fear. That's the fear. Jacob is going to rise up and smite his enemies. It's going to happen. See, and so they're trying to, and the devil's trying to crush us out now so he can stop us, especially the males. Remember what Pharaoh said? If it's a female, save it alive. But if it's a male, throw it in the river. He is especially scared of Israelite males. Why is that? Because the Israelite male is made in the image of Yah. The female is made in the image of the male. But the Israelite male is made in the image of his creator. And it is through the male that the Father said, I'm going to bring forth my people, through the male. That is the man. And you know what? We need to be praying for the Israelite men, especially the ones that don't know who they are. We need to be praying for them because in them, the salvation of the earth is coming. I'm not fronting with you. I'm just telling you the truth, man. Isaiah chapter 27 from verse 8. Let's go from verse 8. I'm going to read verse 8 and 9 just to get piece by piece here. Isaiah 27 verse 8 and 9. In measure, when it shooteth forth, thou wilt debate with it. He stayed his rough wind in the day of the east wind. By this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged. And this is all the fruit to take away his sin. When he maketh all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in sunder, the groves and the images shall not stand up. See? When Jacob is brought back, and brothers and sisters, you are now at this time witnessing, those of you paying attention, Jacob's return. The awakening is the return of Jacob that we also read about in the witness of Deuteronomy chapter 30. And there's other witnesses. Isaiah mentions it. And of course, we spoke about it in Ezekiel chapter 37, which we mentioned the valley of dry bones. This is an awakening of Jacob. He's being brought back, as Father said he would. See what he did? He allowed Asatan to go stark raving crazy on his people. Because his people sinned, but he allowed Asatan to think he was going to stamp them out. That's why, isn't that what the Psalm 2 said? Let us break their bands asunder. Isn't that the Bible calls in Psalm 83 his hidden ones? Because nobody knows who they are. Didn't he say, I'm going to make the remembrance of them to cease throughout the earth and scatter them? That's what he said. But he said also, I'm bringing Jacob back. See, when it's unbelievable. When you think they're gone for good, Jacob coming back. It's happening now. We've already seen it. Why do you think I'm here? I didn't just show up here. Y'all sent me. And it's not just me. No. There's 143,999 others all over this planet that he's calling to send forth his message, the trumpet sound, to bring Jacob back. It's happening. It's already happening. At the same time, the nations are getting angry. At the same time. And their anger is going to be directed at Jacob. But Jacob's not scared. No. His fear went away with the righteousness of his father. Jacob's not scared. But Jacob is obedient. He's going to come back. He's coming back as an obedient son now. Isaiah chapter 27 from verse 10. From verse 10 down to verse 12. Watch this now. We read about a little bit of this earlier when we read chapter 19 of Isaiah. But here we go again. See, again, I just want to point out how the Most High, when he's talking through his prophets, he repeats things. When in the written word of the prophets, they repeat things. And he shows them the same thing in many different ways. Again, we use Revelation as an example. 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets. He's showing the same time frames to the prophet, but different things in those time frames he's highlighting. But it's the same things. Okay? He repeats things. Daniel chapter 2 is repeated in chapter 7. Is repeated in chapter 8. He shows Daniel the same things. Is repeated in chapter 10 and 11 and 12 in different details. Once you see the pattern, it's a rhythm to it, and you'll see it. See, Most High Spirit give it to us, but this is the same thing happening in Isaiah. So what he said in Isaiah 19, he's repeating here in Isaiah 27 with additional details. Okay, Isaiah chapter 27, verse 10, 11. Let's go 10, 11, and 12. And yet the defense city shall be desolate. That's Jerusalem. And the habitation forsaken and left like a wilderness. And there shall the calf feed, and there shall lie down and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The woman come and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore he made them all, he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall beat off from the channel of the river, from the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel. See here, we had no mercy on us. You know, I like it the way Malcolm X said it. We did not land on Plymouth Rock. No, we did not land on Plymouth Rock in Jamestown. Plymouth Rock landed on us. All good though, because it's part of our awakening. It's part of our repentance. It's part of bringing us back. And Jacob is coming back. Isaiah chapter 27, verse 13. I saved this one for last. Verse 13. Isaiah chapter 27, verse 13. And again, this is repeated. Isaiah chapter 10, 11. We're going to see it also in the future. Chapter 44, chapter 59 is going to be 57. It's going 61. It's going to be repeated several times. And again, he's following suit with Jeremiah, Ezekiel, David, Moses, all of these Messiah. He's following suit with all the same words. You see, praise Yah. Notice what it said. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown. The trumpet awakens. The Leviathan deceives. The great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish. In the land of Assyria and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship Yahweh in the holy mountain at Jerusalem. See, we read that in Isaiah 19. So that your Assyrians are really Semites that joined up with Hamites. And of course, Egyptians are the Hamitic people, which are like Cush also, Ethiopian and Hamitic people. They're also going to hear this word from Jacob. And the trumpet's calling them, and they're going to awaken. It's already happening. Look at the Lemba tribe. Look at the Igbo tribe in Nigeria, the Lemba tribe in Southern Africa. It's already happening. The Ashantis in Ghana are awakening. The Ashantis in Ghana are awakening. And I'm just naming a few places. It's happening. It's already happening, brothers and sisters. The awakening has begun. And it's not going to be stopped. There's nothing that any power on earth can do to stop it. I don't care what virus, the awakening is going to be ongoing. It's going to continue. Why do I say that? Because the word says it. When Father puts out a word, You're talking about a entity in the Father, the Creator, and in Messiah. When they speak something, it comes into existence, and they can speak something, and it ceases to exist. This is ultimate power. So when they speak a word that's going to happen, it's 100% guaranteed that it's going to happen. The only thing we have to choose is what side of that word we're going to be on, with it or against it. Because it's going to happen. There's no question. Most people fight it. Why? Because Asatan is scared and he fights the word. He's going to fight the word of Yah. He's going to fight it to the end, to the day he's tossed into the lake of fire. He's going to fight the word. He's going to deceive all the way to the end. You say, why would he do that? Because the Father's Spirit is not with him anymore. And brothers and sisters, I'm trying to tell y'all that there are people on the earth, as I'm speaking to you, who have cast off the Father's Spirit for the last time. And they are totally under the control of Asatan's spirit. And they're being used to be deceivers. They still smile, they still dress nice, they still even appear nice. But they have his spirit not with them anymore. And you can actually see the fruits of it in some of the things, some of these politicians are completely under Asatan's control. I mean, completely. On both Democrat and Republican. Like I said, I can name the head of the Senate and Democrat, Chuck Schumer, and the head of the Senate of the Republicans, Mitch McConnell. They're both devils. They're both devils. Both of them. Nancy Pelosi is a Roman Catholic. She heads the House. She's a devil. She's a devil. I'm trying to tell y'all what it is, man. They're all against you. Don't think they got this conservative Democrat, what is it, conservative liberal thing. Don't buy into that. Follow the word. The only righteous one is Yah and his son Messiah. There's no righteousness on this earth. None of these powers are righteous. They don't care about you. They care about them and their masters, which go all the way back to Rome. The Bible tells us that. They don't care about you. I don't care if it's a Republican president or a Democratic president. I don't care if it's a Barack Obama or Donald Trump. They both devils. Listen, they both devils. I ain't fronting with y'all. Don't get caught up in this mess. You cannot trust these people. They hate you, especially you Hebrews. They really hate y'all. They hate you. You say Barack Obama's black. No, Barack Obama, how can I say this nicely? He was not with us. He was a con man, used to deceive us. That's what he did. He was deceiving us. This healthcare act he put out was garbage. It's garbage. We ain't in no better position now than 8 years after him. And it don't matter if it's him or Trump. It don't matter. They all trying to destroy me and you for profit. Trying to tell y'all the truth, man. Stick in this word. Stick with the Israelite Messiah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let's finish with this. I'm gonna finish with Psalm 122. Psalm 122. Yes, Psalm 122. I'm going to read from verse 1 to 9 of Psalm 122. It's only 9 verses long. We're going to finish with that. Psalm 122. I was glad, said the psalmist, that when they said unto me, let us go to the house of Yahweh. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. See, he's talking about Jerusalem. Of course, we know we're talking about the new Jerusalem because the old one has been destroyed. And the one that's there now is a fake Hollywood set. But we're talking about the new Jerusalem. Our feet shall stand within thy gates. Let us go to the house of Yahweh. That's in Mount Zion, praise Yah. The Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together, whither the tribes go up. Wait, what tribes? The 12 tribes of Israel go up to Jerusalem. Why did the 12 tribes of Israel go up to Jerusalem? for the feast. And this tells you, wait, where did the tribes go? The tribes of Yahweh unto the testimony of Israel. The testimony, that's the witness. What is the witness? That is the covenant. The Ark of the Covenant contains the covenant. It's there in Jerusalem. It's supposed to be. It's not now, but it will be when we come back to the New Jerusalem. To give thanks unto the name of Yahweh. See, all the tribes come up for the feast to give thanks to Yah. All the feasts are built around celebrations of deliverance and the covenant. All the feasts, all three of the feasts. And the Day of Atonement is also built around the covenant, obviously, overcoming sin. That's what the Day of Atonement's about. And again, we go to Jerusalem. There are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. That is Judah. Yes. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. Are we talking about brick and mortar? Or are we talking about the people of the Israelite people? Right? You understand what I'm saying? Are we talking about brick and mortar? Or are we talking about the inhabitants of the city? That's what we're talking about. He's not giving honor to brick and mortar because that would be an idol. He'd be making Jerusalem an idol. He's not talking about that. He's talking about what it represents. The chosen people. That's where the tribes go. That's what he's trying to tell you. That's where the tribes go. So you said pray for the peace of the Jerusalem. That means you're praying for the peace of the tribes, the ones that have been affected, oppressed, exploited. You're praying for their peace. Peace be within thy walls and prosperity in thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sake, I will now say, peace be within thee. Because of the house of Yahweh, I will seek thy good. Because of the house of Yah, because of his chosen people related to that covenant and that God. There's only one true God, brothers and sisters. Ain't two, ain't but one. One true God. And he has one chosen people. And he invites the earth. In this psalm, he said, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. He's inviting the earth, come with his chosen people and his tribes. You don't have to go join any organization. Nope. You got to make a commitment of righteousness and truth. That's what it is. When you're not joining a club. See, when you join these churches, you got to take a public stand for the church, and you got to sign sometimes documents. You got to get baptized in the church, right? That's what you become, a member of the church. But this is not that's anti-biblical. The Bible talks about becoming a member of the body of Messiah. The body of Messiah is the nation of Israel. That's his church. That's the nation. Becoming a member of that body means you are receiving their God. You're receiving their covenant. You're receiving their ways. You're receiving their Messiah. Praise the Most High Yah. We're going to return. I'm going to take a break. It's 12:25 Eastern. I'm going to take a break, come back 12:45, like 20 minutes from now. Come back after the break. We'll continue with the next, let's see, the next chapter we're studying is chapter 28 of Isaiah. Yes, it's chapter 28. Oh, yes. Chapter 28. Oh, yes. We'll return. I'm going to turn this YouTube off and then come back in 20 minutes, 12:45, and we'll start from where we left off. It's going to chapter 28. Enjoy the break.